Welcome back. The CARICOM Reparations Committee says the UK owes compensations to Caribbean countries following the ending of slavery. The Centre for Reparations Research at the University of the West Indies in Jamaica has highlighted that the UK was still paying off a loan for compensation to slave owners until 2015. The loan at the time was £20 million, which was 40% of the national budget. That figure is equivalent to £240 billion in today's money. The chairman of CARICOM's Reparations Committee, Sir Hilary Beckles, said that that debt has not been cleared.
After 500 years of wealth extraction, and particularly this notorious slave loan that has been extracting wealth out of the Caribbean until 2015, Britain has a moral and legal obligation to put this money back in the Caribbean for the development of the Caribbean peoples. And this is what we have been saying in the reparations movement. Britain and Europe needs to return that money to the Caribbean that they have extracted, and now we have proof of even greater extraction into 2015 of the slave loan. So, to discuss this further, we're being joined by Jodi Ann Quarrie. She's the research assistant attached to the recently opened Reparations Research Center at the University of the West Indies campus in Jamaica. Hi, Jodi Ann. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So, the people who know about CARICOM's reparations push don't judge the effort very favorably. What would you say to those people?
That they have misinformation, that they don't know how advanced and how complex our struggle and our work has been. The Center for Reparations Research works on the CARICOM's 10-point plan for reparatory justice. And it's not just money, but it's support for reparation in terms of the health crisis created by the colonial governments that were here, the genocide of the indigenous peoples who were here. It's a much more all-inclusive program than many people appreciate it is.
And I was personally very shocked to find out that the UK was still paying off for the loan that they took out to compensate the slave owners in 2015, which is the same year that David Cameron, then Prime Minister of the UK, visited Jamaica and made comments that he did not think that reparations was a realistic option. How much of that did he actually know that the UK was still paying off the loan then?
He was very well aware, as he is a descendant of and is a beneficiary of the loan. David Cameron's family was the owner of enslaved Africans, and so he benefited both as Prime Minister with the government of Britain renegotiated the loans and paid it off, and he benefited in his personal capacity as a descendant of the persons who were paid. He was well aware when he made those statements that the UK continued to pay and people were continuing to make interest off black bodies from the 18th century.
And let's go back to the Reparations Research Center at the University of the West Indies. The research that we just spoke about came from the center. What other research are you all currently working on at the moment?
Several bits of information. That timing is important, and so those things are really important, but we are looking at, for example, what the implications of this compensation mean. It now gives us a starting point to widen our circle of search. Banks like Barclays Bank, JP Morgan Chase, other banks that we didn't know were involved in renegotiating loans and getting compensation money from slavery are now within our sights. And so we are now expanding the circle of persons and banks and institutions that have benefited and profited to this day from the enslavement of Africans.
Thank you so much, Jodi Ann. We've been talking to Jodi Ann Quarrie. She is a research assistant at the newly opened Center for Reparations Research at the University of the West Indies in Jamaica.